Welcome to this episode of the Faster Than Lightspeed podcast. I'm your Captain Kenny with my XO.
Joey.
Joey, how are you doing today?
Good. It's been a long time since we recorded the podcast.
It's been a little while. A bit longer than usual.
3 weeks.
So we are recording remotely. Joey is off at school. So his microphone quality is going to be different than usual until we maybe get a better setup for that. We are doing this through Discord. So Joey, what's our topic for today? Because you kind of picked out this topic.
Yes, this is the first time I picked out a topic that you really liked.
I don't know about really liked, but I was like, all right, we'll do this topic.
We're doing the Rocketeer because they announced a reboot.
Yeah, they've been talking about a reboot for a little while.
Yes, but now apparently they have somebody to produce and possibly star.
Okay. So our topic is we're going to be doing a retro review of the 1991 Disney film The Rocketeer, which I don't know how I feel about it, but we'll get into that later. Do you have news, Joey?
Yes, I do. Let me go get it out. Okay?
Yeah, we'll get into important news. Important news.
You don't want to talk about Pokemon?
Not news that I have no interest in.
I was very interested in that Pokemon news, though.
I don't care.
Did you cut that out?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Well, got some Starfield news. This is a little old.
So this is video game, right?
Yeah. We got some factions and planets revealed. Okay. Which I was like looking at it, I'm like, ooh, this stuff sounds really cool, but I don't know if I want to look at this. So I think it's too spoilery.
Okay. Is it within our solar system? Is that revealed?
I don't think so. At least they never announced anything. The only thing I really remember reading about is that there's this one planet named New Atlantis, which is like a big city hub world planet.
Okay.
And they kind of gave out some ideas of what some quests would be. But I just think it's so spoilery that I don't want to really look into it that much. What do you think about them? Kind of releasing more faction details and planets.
Well, I didn't read any of it, so I feel like you need to be discussing what the details are.
Yeah. I mean, I avoided this, but I just thought it was good to bring up.
I mean, New Atlantis sounds interesting. It makes it sound like it's not going to be in our solar system. Although I thought that initial trailer kind of looked like it was. It looked like they were just on the moon.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's about exploring the galaxy. It's a No Man's Sky, but RPG. And not just kind of an open world.
Yeah, No Man's Sky, I don't know, it just feels like everything takes too long. Like, you just have to end up mining plants and stuff, which I don't want to spend a million hours just mining plants and stuff to build a house, to build a base. I want to fly around and do junk.
It seems like a kind of a grind simulator.
For No Man's Sky, yeah.
Yeah. That's my problem with it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And then this is more sad news.
Okay.
But did you hear that Carl from Up died?
What, the actor? Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, and then, like, a day before he died, they announced that they made kind of a show called Doug Days, which is about Doug being Carl's dog.
Okay.
And it was a good kind of ending for that character, in my opinion.
Okay.
But yeah, it was very weird because they announced the show, then he died, like the next day.
And then
I watched every episode.
And then, U.S. agent took on his mantle as old guy from Up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he looks exactly like Carl.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It was a good send off for that character. Have you seen Doug Days?
No, I saw something about it though. Somehow
I say you could give it a watch. I watched it in like an hour, I think.
All right. What other news?
That's all I had.
That's
I feel
all
like
you have
Shang-Chi
news?
released. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
we are delaying that until because we were not able to see it over this weekend, so we'll be hopefully reviewing it later. Yeah, if you don't have any other news, then we can jump into the topic probably.
Rocketeer. Okay.
So we watched The Rocketeer, which I guess is so I believe it's Disney. It was just straight up Disney.
Yes.
Released in 1991. And it's about what can you lay out the story about The Rocketeer? What year does it take place in?
Oh, I think they said that's 3 years before World War II.
I believe
Before
at the beginning it said
the US
1938. Yeah. I believe.
Yes. Which I think is a fun time period. It sets the tone.
Okay. What's the story? Who's the main character? First off, how do we meet the main character?
He's about to fly a plane, and he puts gum.
Who is he though? What's his name though?
Oh, Cliff Secord.
Okay, yeah. And what's he do?
He flies planes. I said that he flies a nice yellow plane. Okay, and with
is
his
he a
mentor-
racer? I think he races planes.
Yes, something like that.
Something like that. I thought you watched this
I said
movie.
I said he flies planes. He's like, he doesn't fly planes. He races planes. That's you.
You're just
like,
yeah. That's so vague though.
Dude,
Flies planes.
Race car drivers don't actually drive cars. They just race them.
No, but you could say somebody drives cars, and that doesn't describe what they actually do, does it? You could be a taxi driver if you're a guy who drives cars. That doesn't mean you're a race car driver.
We never saw him.
He could have been a
race, though.
no, but it starts off right. He was testing out their new plane for racing, right? Him and his mechanic friend, right? Who?
You don't remember his name? I thought you watched this movie.
I don't know.
You didn't watch the movie?
So
is this a troll?
So what was it? So he was testing out this plane, and then there's also a police chase going on at the very beginning, and the people being chased just shoot at his plane for no reason, other than it was like he was hovering above. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's like that's a plane. Bah! Bang 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 bang. What? What just happened?
That was weird.
That was crazy. Like what? What? Crazy, dude.
Oh yeah, should we just go into spoilers for this movie, even though nobody's seen it?
Well, yeah, we're doing spoilers, yeah. Well, and the criminals had a jetpack made by Howard Hughes.
Yeah.
And then he has the jetpack, and he says, "Oh, my girlfriend's an actress," and she, I don't know.
As a one line.
And what'd you think of? So that was the main character. Then what about his girlfriend character?
Jenny.
Yeah, who is an actress.
Who left her phone number and it said 8675309.
And then
What
about the villain? What about the villain?
Did you cut it? Did you just cut it?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay, don't cut the bit. Don't cut that
Did you?
bit.
What about the villain? Who's the main villain?
We have Sinclair as the villain, who is Timothy Dalton.
We got James Bond himself, Timothy Dalton in this. I was not expecting that.
I did not. He just turned around like, oh, whoa.
It's like, whoa, it's James Bond. It's thinking what is it, Volkov from Chuck? Because he was a villain in Chuck. I'm like, wow, they like making him into villains.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
He's played Indiana Jones. Not Indiana Jones. Oh my gosh. 007.
Yeah. That was kind of funny.
We almost had a W.
I think the gangster, because there was also Eddie Valentine, who's this gangster that he's recruiting to get the jetpack, right?
Yes.
They call it a rocket. American. They call it a rocket, but it's like it's a jetpack. Nowadays we call it a jetpack. Yes. So I'm pretty sure that guy was also in a James Bond, but I couldn't tell you which one.
I
don't know. So So Mr. Cliff gets the jetpack. He just finds it. And they do some experimentation with a statue a little bit.
Yes, which I don't know why they thought that was a good idea.
I don't know. I mean, it's a test dummy, I guess.
Yes.
Kind of weird. And they do a little bit of flying. He saves somebody from an airplane. What about the twist with Timothy Dalton's character?
Oh, well, I want to bring this up. Okay.
Okay.
This was there are so many priceless lines in this movie, and it's fantastic. Okay, so I got the script out. Okay, and this is the script. Okay, Jenny, while inside a hidden room behind the bookcase inside his mansion, she says, "Oh my gosh, Neville Sinclair is a," and then Neville Sinclair confronting her says, "A what? A spy? A saboteur? A fascist? All of the above." And I think that's such a great line.
Well,
because he's a Nazi.
So, yeah, he's a Nazi, which they reveal as this twist, which would have hit harder maybe if the description of the movie on Disney Plus, because we watched this through Disney Plus, didn't say the Rocketeer fights against a devious Nazi spy. It's like, okay. Because I was like weighing like, so this guy's a Nazi, right? When are they gonna reveal him to be a Nazi? And then they reveal like some twist in the movie. It's like, wow, that description blows the twist 100%, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. It is. That was upsetting. I wish they didn't spoil it. Also, does it really matter?
What, that he's a Nazi?
That they spoiled it. I don't really feel like it was a good enough twist. It's like, well, he's a bad guy nonetheless. What? Am I not gonna?
Well, it's
I'm
like
not rooting for him anymore.
What was it? They reveal because earlier in the film they show. What is it? They're at the movies and there's a newsreel, right, of the Nazis, and there's gonna be one of their Zeppelins flying across America and coming to Los Angeles. I'm like, oh, that's going to have a thing in the climax. Like 100%. There's no way we're knocking the Rocketeer jetpacking up to the Zeppelin.
I don't remember that part of the movie, and I just watched it.
Yeah.
I literally just finished watching the movie.
Yeah, I was because Cliff makes some comments about Germany starting the First World War or something. It's like, yeah, we know, we get it. They're bad guys. We're in the future.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
This movie? When's the anniversary of this movie? When did it come out?
It came out 19. It's been, what was it, 20 years? No, 30 years. Yeah, 30 years since this came out.
Maybe it's the anniversary. June 21. So yeah, 30 years.
Yeah.
How about in another 30 years we re-review this movie?
No. Why would we do that? You think we're going to be doing the podcast in 30 years?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll be bi-weekly at that point.
Yeah, you're right.
Were there any other twists in this? What about the stinking Frankenstein orc man? Goblin man.
Oh my god.
That was giant and just would fold people in half. He was the henchman or whatever the hell.
Yeah, his name was Luther or something like that.
Luthor. Yeah. Like,
it's basically like, all right, well, they just got like Jaws from James Bond as well. They're just going the James Bond route for this movie.
I'm like looking at him like, is this man like a orc from Skyrim? What's going on with this guy? That has to have been a mask. Nobody looks like that, right?
Oh, I don't know. He had a pretty realistic jawline. So.
I think it was a prosthetic mask. I'm like, well, this guy looks crazy. What else? I don't have much else to actually talk about this, like, content-wise in the movie. How do you feel about the effects, like, with him flying around?
I felt like that's the one thing that really needed updating.
It reminds me of, I've been seeing a lot of memes of just like movie scenes or characters in Skyrim. A lot of memes like that remind me of that. How they were always inserted in, like when
Yeah,
like just into the sky. I think it.
yeah,
I think that was the real holdup of this movie is that obviously they just didn't have the technology to do flying yet. They had to
yeah.
wait until Matrix 2 to do good flying.
Yes. One.
So, which also it's like, all right, you can only use the rocket pack 3 times in this movie.
Yes.
A little disappointing.
I have a. So you know how the Bad Batch created this one part of the podcast called "Is there an echo in your segment?"
Is there an echo in here? Okay.
There's now the antithesis and the opposite of that from this movie because there's one
Oh,
line. When they said it, I just love the lines in this movie.
okay.
I had to look this one up. Okay, and this is it. Okay, Clifford Secord, right, the Rocketeer,
Mm-hmm.
tells Timothy Dalton, who's an actor, "Where's your stuntman now, Sinclair?"
Yes, I love that. I do love that. When they start fighting, I'm like, "There's no way. There's no way he's gonna say this." And then he replies, "I do my own stunts." It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But it's all, like he's gonna. I like said it to myself before he replied back. Like he does his own stunts. He says, "I do my own stunts." I'm like,
It
yes.
was awesome.
This movie is.
You gotta watch this movie.
It's pretty silly. What's the runtime on it? Do you have
It's like
that?
2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have IMDb up
It's
right here.
longer than it should be.
An hour and then 48 minutes. I
Okay.
think that's the perfect time.
Okay.
I mean, there's comic books. The costumes are fantastic.
There's not really many costumes though. It's just gangsters, which isn't hard to pull off.
No.
And then there's the Rocketeer costume, which is fine. It's very retro, right?
Yes. The vest should have been red.
Is
If
it
you-
supposed
if
to
they
be?
wanted- It's supposed to be.
Okay.
Isn't there a Rocketeer thing in Tomorrowland?
I don't recall.
I think there might have been, but I don't know why there would be. Because it's not like it's in the future; it's actually in the past.
True. I mean, but I feel like there was a Rocketeer thing to. Are you talking about Tomorrowland the movie or in the amusement park?
Either or, if you know it's in the movie as well, that's
I
great
mean,
too.
because in Tomorrowland the movie, was it George Clooney's character as a kid invented a jetpack, right?
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but I just remember that being a thing. So yeah, do you have anything else from this actual movie? Otherwise, we'll get into what we would think the reboot, or if this were to be remade, would be like.
Well, this movie. Oh, I have another line if you want to hear it.
All right.
Where after when Jenny smashes Sinclair's head with a pot in the dressing room, she says, "I finally played a scene with Sinclair."
Lame.
I thought that was a good one.
Lame.
And there's so many other good ones. Oh my gosh, this is A tier writing. Whoever made
I
the
don't know.
script for this movie and these lines are fantastic. They need a raise.
Do we want to get into our score for this movie?
Oh, sure. Then we can go talk about the future.
Yeah, the future of this sort of property.
Okay.
All right, you go first. Give a summary of your thoughts on it. And your score. Your score. Anybody that hasn't listened, we do a binary score system. A 0, don't watch it, or a 1, do watch it.
Yes.
So what's your score?
This movie, after like being so consumed with the MCU, with Loki, and and even just like Superman and stuff, this is such a laid-back universe that's just completely good on its own. I don't think it really needs a sequel, even though I would totally watch a sequel if they made one. So I give it a 1 because it's just how laid back and how fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. And yeah, so I give it a 1.
Okay.
And it has so much charm that I love it.
Okay. My review, my summary. this movie is very mediocre to me. just in terms of, just in terms of, I don't know. Nothing is like super cool to me, or like I don't know. The world building is just kind of meh in terms of gangsters and okay, now there's Nazis. Now we're fighting Nazis.
Oh yeah.
That I don't know. Timothy Dalton as the villain was kind of cool, but I don't know if the main character really even had that much charisma to like get me to like him too much. To compare it with another classic Disney science fiction movie, okay? Tron is way better than this. I like Tron way better than this. Because Tron had good world building and interesting, what would you say? Interesting mechanics.
Which Tron?
What?
Which
the original
Tron?
Tron. I'm comparing it to the original Tron because that would be more akin to this time frame, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be fair to compare with Legacy. Legacy's
I wouldn't.
incredible. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so Tron. Yeah, so I'm not sure if there's any reason to watch this outside of you just want to see the original before a reboot. I'm giving. Shut up. This is my review. So I'm giving it a 0. You don't need to watch. You don't need to watch this movie. You don't really need to watch this movie. Unless you want to see Timothy Dalton with a weird mustache and suddenly becomes a Nazi. You don't need to watch this movie.
This is unbelievable. I don't know if we watched the same movie. Did you like?
It's just very mediocre. Movie? It's just very. There was nothing outside of like the costume design, which I thought was nice. You know, kind of cool. But outside of that, it was just like, meh. What's the point? I don't know. Like the action pieces weren't even all that interesting.
I almost want a.
It was a lot of Rocketeer just kind of hitting things, running into things over and over again.
He is no soldier.
He'd be dead. Well, he'd be dead if he ran into that many things, especially while on a rocket. That's my point.
I would say I am excited for a reboot.
So, in terms of a remake, okay, when would a remake take place? Would you say?
Wait. I just want to say the Rotten Tomatoes on this. It's 65 for audience and 66 for.
So it's a pretty steady. But we don't do that rating.
It's very mixed. But I would just like to point out that this movie I think is really good. And then Battlestar Galactica season 2 and 3 is at 100. This is rigged.
It's just meh.
This is rigged.
It's a very
Don't listen to.
It's a very mediocre movie. You know, it's all right if you've got nothing else to watch. you could watch this movie.
Do you think Sorcerer?
Watch Tron instead. Watch Tron instead.
Tron is sometimes an eyesore, though.
You're saying the Nick Cage Sorcerer's Apprentice?
Yes. Which one do you think is better?
I don't know.
Rank Rocketeer, the Rocketeer, Tron, and then Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Well, Tron is up top.
What's your listing?
Tron is up top. Maybe Sorcerer's Apprentice. And then Rocketeer.
Really?
Yeah, even Sorcerer's Apprentice has some interesting in terms of fantasy building and some design stuff, cool stuff. The character is somewhat likable or and interesting and has some sort of some sort of arc. I'm not sure if Rocketeer has any real arc other than he lost his plane in the beginning and now he gets a new plane. Howard Hughes gives him a new plane at the end.
Yeah.
With a packet of gum. So I don't know if there was any real arc. I guess it might have been make sure to appreciate your girlfriend, but I don't really know. Or maybe it's more that his girlfriend should appreciate him more. I don't know. I didn't really understand what the arc was in terms of that relationship. So
sure.
I'm not sure.
I get that.
So that's my reason.
Mine probably has to go with maybe Tron, then this, and then Sorcerer's Apprentice. Honorable mention, National Treasure.
These aren't. I don't know why you put those two in this category because they're not like retro Disney movies. Really, those are 2000s movies. Yeah, those are like 2000s. Those are 2000s movies.
They're still like one-off Disney movies. I guess Tron is not a one-off, but you know.
So
it basically is.
Okay, so if they were to do a remake, would you set it in the 30s? You would do it retro, like, you know, they're in this time frame again, or would you do it some other time frame, or even, you know, modern day?
I thought about that throughout the entire movie. I think because this movie did the 30s so well, in my opinion, I don't think they need to do it again. They need to make it different. So I'm going to say make it modern day.
Okay.
But I don't know. It has to be done properly.
Yeah.
I don't think you can just copy and paste the story in the modern day.
It would be, well, you have to think of, right, what would the benefits of just a straight up jetpack be? Because that's all it is. It's just a jetpack and then the helmet, right? And the helmet's really just a fin that I guess you use to steer, right? So I'm not sure what the benefits of just a jetpack like that would be in modern day, other than I guess maybe more maneuverable.
Yes.
But when you're facing against what, like real like modern day weaponry, I'm not sure how useful. Because a part of this is that what the rocket is going to be, what the U.S. Army and the Nazis are trying to get the jetpack for, say, military stuff, right? To make soldiers that use jetpacks. I'm not sure how useful that would be to modern day. It would be useful to a degree. Yeah. But not nearly as useful.
I thought of that too. And you would probably have to get more gadgets. I think that makes this probably the rocket more futuristic and stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there's this one part in the movie where he got a gun, right? He was standing behind the American flag, right? Holding his gun, like, look at me, I'm about to go to this blip. And he flies up there and loses the gun right
Immediately loses it.
Literally.
It's like, oh no, it fell off the Zeppelin. Oh, okay, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, he stands in front of the American flag, so cool, like this Han Solo type character.
Patriotic.
Right. Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
He's gonna fight Nazis. But then,
the minute he gets up there, he gets hit by a door and I think drops it.
Pretty good. I would set a movie like this in maybe the 50s or the 60s. So it'd be Cold War. I would do it like Cold War era. And yeah, you'd have to somewhat buff up what the jetpack does. You'd have to say like, oh, it's not, you can't be detected by radar, and that's part of the reason for it, right? Or whatever detection technology they would use in that time frame, right?
Yeah.
And that would be the benefit of the jetpack. And it would be, instead of Nazis, it would be the Soviets trying to get the jetpack, right? Which I think, I don't know, in terms of having spies planted in American society, I think that was a bit more widespread concern was with the Russians. I'm not sure as much with the Nazis. I haven't heard much of that. But that was a different time. But it seems more like a Cold War story to me than a pre-World War II story.
Yes. By the way, so I was looking up the new Rocketeer stuff, and I got some more details for you that I did not know. Okay. This is a sequel.
Okay. So yeah, I could see it where in the 50s they find like a jetpack and the helmet, and it's like, oh.
Yeah. That makes yours a lot more likely, because it's going to be called The Return of the Rocketeer.
Okay.
Well, or somebody else picking up the mantle.
Okay. Yeah, that's how I would think you would do it. But the thing is also, the jetpack was blown up.
Well, they had the schematics. They're probably going to try to make a new one.
Didn't Howard Hughes burn the schematics in like the second scene of the movie? Remember that? I think they made some new schematics, but I was concerned because Howard Hughes, who made the rocket, the jetpack, was like, oh, you army guys, all you ever want to do is make weapons with my stuff. I'm wish I'd never made this. And he throws the file with all the documents on the jetpack into like a fireplace.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I don't know if you should do that. There's a war brewing, you know. There like legitimately is a war brewing right now, right? I don't know. Seemed kind of crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm interested to see what they would do with the sequel. It will be a Disney Plus original.
Okay.
If you didn't know that.
Okay. I would prefer a Tron sequel.
They're not doing that.
They should.
Not just Disney Plus. They would have to make a big release, and it does not have the fan base. With the Rocketeer, from everything I've seen, it did make money. Not a whole lot of money, but good amount of money.
Okay.
And the studio itself had a good time making the movie and loved it. So.
Okay.
So the studio was really like on board and loved this movie.
But that was 30 years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know.
This movie was no smash hit nor bomb. So.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, do you have any other thoughts about that? Otherwise, we're at 30 minutes now.
I don't know. I just feel like give the guy more gadgets. Have him have a gun for a little bit longer than a second. You know?
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I agree with you though.
I think they could think of more stuff to give him, like some sort of, like not necessarily lethal stuff, but like concussion stuff or smoke bombs. Who knows? I think if you're doing it modern day, you could, and if you look at like comic culture, I'm sure you can find something to add to the Rocketeer's repertoire. Because that's all he is that he's a guy with a jetpack. He has like nothing else, which I guess might be something if you're in the 30s, but... And if you're doing this, if you're watching this before, pre-MCU, pre a lot of, like before modern superhero movies, right?
Yeah. Do you think they'll put the Rocketeer in the MCU? I know they won't.
No.
Because it would be stupid. It would be so stupid.
I doubt it, yeah.
But I'm just saying, if this movie becomes super popular, do you think they would consider it?
I don't think so.
Okay. Because it's not Marvel at all.
Right.
To my knowledge.
But, yeah. I don't think they would.
Yeah. I'm happy this isn't really in the MCU, though. It makes it so much more, like, one-off and not complicated. It's not like Shang-Chi, which I have not seen yet, so maybe I'm wrong, where it's, like, the origin story, but it has, like, Abomination and Wong and what's his name from Iron Man 3 in it. It's like, come on.
Sure.
Like, just give me a movie of just actual Shang-Chi. Not Shang-Chi and the other Avengers.
Sure.
Which I think is one of the reasons why I'm drifting away from the MCU.
Okay. Alright. Well, we can wrap this up then, if you're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll get into, upcoming podcast stuff. We'll be trying to get to Shang-Chi as soon as possible. As soon as we can both see that. So, otherwise, that's really the news. We want to do a James Bond episode as well at some point with No Time to Die coming out at some point soon. So, I think that's the plan for upcoming podcast stuff.
I mean, we gotta do Dune eventually.
Well, when Dune comes out, right?
Yeah.
When new Dune comes out, October 22nd, but that's a while yet.
I probably won't. It probably might be a while until I see that movie as well. I don't know. Depends on when I go home and that late.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, right. I'm sure we will.
All right. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Faster Than Lightspeed podcast. Check us out on Twitter, where we will be posting news and info about the show and how to listen to more episodes. This has been your Captain Kenny with my XO.
Joey.
And this has been the Faster Than Lightspeed podcast.